what you want to be able to do is get to a point where if you need to, you can paint an audio picture. You know, if you've got a bird that's just not coming to you, it may be that the best thing that you can do is use a slate call to sound like a hen and then fire off a gobble to make that bird think that there's a receptive hen that's got a tom coming into it. So you can use these calls together to kind of paint an audio picture of something that's happening for them to want to come to. Another example would be what I call the fly down cackle. And basically what that is in the morning, you might have birds that are roosted up in a tree. You know where they're at. You've gotten close to them and you're trying to let them know that, hey, there's some hens over here and they just flew down into this field over here. So this is where the toms need to fly down.
Right.
And I call it a fly down cackle. And what I do is I use a call with a hat to sound like wings flapping. And we've got a video that'll demonstrate how to paint an audio picture using multiple tools together at once. This tom was roosted over a wooded creek bed, and there's a field on either side, so he had the option of flying down into either field. One tip I can give you when you've got a bird that could possibly fly a different direction, you're trying to get him to fly down into your field, is to practice a fly down cackle. Now, I'm no expert caller. This probably sounds bad to you competition callers, but this is how I do it. The first thing that I like to do is throw out a few soft tree yelps. This lets the bird know you're there first off, so he starts paying attention to your direction. But then the other thing that it does is it lets you kind of get your mouth warmed up. If you try and go straight to a fly down cackle, there's a good chance you'll screw it up and possibly make him go the other direction. So start off with a few soft tree yelps. Pretty simple. They don't have to be loud or abrasive. Just let him know that you're there. After you've done a few tree yelps, that tom's probably responded back by gobbling. He knows that you're there. He's paying attention. You want to wait for just a few minutes and then go ahead and move to your fly down cackle. And one thing that can really help with that is a hat. I borrowed this from the wife because I didn't have one. Worked out pretty good. And you can tie in a wing flap with your hat with the fly down cackle. Makes it way more believable, and a lot of times they'll drop into the field within minutes of doing that. So if you're ever in a situation like this, give that fly down cackle a try, and there's a good chance it'll put that bird right in your lap. We're over here now. No doubt about that. Just be ready to get your hands out and stuff, and he can be in our field in 60 seconds. I think I just heard him fly. There he is right there. Okay, yeah. All right, the tom's in our field. Now we just have to close the deal. So we got the tom to fly down on our side of the creek. Now it's time to put the calls down and let the decoys work their magic. It's a tom. Full fan, I can see the beard from here.
Did you see him change his attitude all of a sudden?
Yeah, he was irritated. He was like, oh, no, you didn't, buddy.
I look like I haven't been getting much sleep. That's because I haven't been getting much sleep. It's late into the end of season. What is today?
Sunday.
Sunday. It's the day before Memorial Day. Out here in Kansas, it goes till May 31st. So at this point, by the time you get home from roosting at night, you've got about 4 hours until you wake up and hit the blind or run gun, whatever it is that you're doing. So you don't get much sleep at all. But I tell you what, that's what, another one gobbled out there. That's what doing your scouting from a distance and then roosting and putting the birds to bed can do. I mean, I think we should go get some coffee and breakfast right now because it is
6:30.
6 o'clock on the button. We shot that bird at 5:58.
I think I want to go see my second bird. Blasted the crap out of him.
You did?
Shot half of it off.
No, you didn't. That's just a quintuple beard, right?
It's not a quintuple beard.
Well, here, do this. Let's scoop some of it through whatever's loose. I'll be able to put that back together. I mean, assuming you take it to me instead of another taxidermist.
Yeah. Pretty good assumption there. Tom flew down about 80 yards away or so and just kind of went in and out of strut for a little bit. We just watched him, and he inched his way closer and finally decided that he thought he could take this Tom out. So came charging in, and here we are. Day 3, bird 2.
All right, so that worked out really well, that fly down cackle. It's a good thing to have in your box of tools. And if you use it right, you can get birds to literally drop straight into your field and come straight into you if you've got everything set up right and do that call. So, another thing with all these calls, you can make all kinds of noise. You can go out there and really educate birds too. So there is a little bit to be said about when to call, how much to call, and when to shut up.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yeah, so there's multiple situations that I've been in that has worked very well for me, just shutting up.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of emphasis on calling. I believe that there's a lot of guys teaching it, and you hit a key word. There's a lot in our area and surrounding states that we've been in. There's more and more hunting pressure. There's a lot of uneducated hunters that are out there. They're over calling all the time. Okay, they think the more they call, the better, and we have learned over the years that that's not necessarily the case. The bird behind us that's mounted, I never hit a call, and that bird came in for multiple reasons. One, I was at the right place where the bird wanted to be. So we're going to talk about strategy later and like how to determine where the turkey wants to be. In certain situations, if the tom wants to be over there or the hens that he's following want to be over there, then you might not need a call at all.
Mm-hmm. You might hurt yourself.
You might hurt yourself if you call.
Yeah.
There's times where we depend on visibility of the decoys and letting the decoys do the talking. And sometimes if the decoys aren't talking back and forth, if the decoys aren't calling, their curiosity could rise. And so there's been birds shot over decoys where there's been no calling. So there's a lot of different options, a lot of different strategies to it. And man, I've enjoyed hunts where, yeah, I just have watched the bird work and get curious and come into a decoy strategy more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and everybody, once they get started in turkey hunting, they love to hear that gobble. They love to hear that bird respond, especially when you just threw out a call and he gobbles back to you. You have to kind of learn how to read what's happening by listening. Mm-hmm. You throw out a call, that bird responds right away, and you wait 30 seconds, you throw out another string of yelps and he responds again. you're looking pretty good. At that point, you want to try and gauge what's happening. Is he moving or is he staying put? Is he in a strut zone and he's just gobbling, wanting you to come to him, or is he heading your direction? So, as much as we want to keep calling and listen to that gobble and response, sometimes what's better is to throw out a couple to let him know where you're at, and then shut up and wait and see if you hear him suddenly gobble closer or if he's staying in the same direction. If you find out that he's working a strut zone, so he's just strutting back and forth in one area, gobbling to you, wanting you to come to him, and you want to try and encourage him to come to you, you shut up, you stop calling, and just wait. He'll continue to gobble usually if he's on a strut zone. If all of a sudden you hear him go quiet, get ready, because that might mean that he's working his way towards you. And at that point, you're probably best to stay silent the whole time and just keep your eyes open.
Let him come.
So there's a lot to learn about when to use these calls, when to not use these calls. Another thing to think about is when you're calling, you don't have to sound like a contest caller. It's really popular now for all these people to go out and enter contests and try and sound a certain way. All you have to do is be good enough to fool a turkey, and believe me, if we can fool a turkey with our calling, you can too. You don't have to be a competition caller by any means.
Yeah.
It does not take a great sounding call to be able to convince those turkeys to come in.
No, just pick up a call and start practicing. That's all you got to do.
Put the cap on.
Whack.
Don't do that.
I'm more nervous.
Boy.
That's how you gobble there, folks, right there.
We'll just show the mouth version.
Yeah.
What the heck?
It's a crow wounded rabbit combo call. Who cooks for who?